What's going on, guys? It's me, Zach, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. And this one, I'm going to go over about 5 players that I think are buy lows this week after having some pretty disappointing week ones. But I'm going to explain to you why I think it's not necessarily going to be an issue going forward and why I think you should be looking to target them in trades. I will also be following up this video with a week 2 buy or sell high video. So players that I believe overperformed in their week 1 and aren't going to necessarily be able to keep up that production. And I think you should sort of take the profit while you can on that player. So really love these trades videos. Trading is probably my favorite thing to do in fantasy. It's generally where I find myself really gaining an edge over everyone else in my league. I just find myself being the most active and sort of just shotgun approaching these trades. And I find that I win more than half of them. And that's how I end up making my team better as the season goes on. That's how you end up winning your league. So really excited about these videos every single week. I love doing them. I use the same advice. I generally am targeting the players that I talk about. So definitely recommend doing the same. Don't necessarily have to be the same players, but just being more active helps you improve your team and it makes your league more fun too. So super exciting there. I do want to again thank everybody for all the support we've been getting. We've been blown away by all the support we've received going so far. And if this is your first time to the channel, I do want to thank you for stopping by. I hope that you really can gain something from these videos and help make yourself a better fantasy player and make your teams better going forward. So if you do like anything in the content here, please do give me a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm. And if you like the channel and you want more content like this, please do subscribe. We put out at least 3 videos a week. We've got a website to accompany it. So really just help, help me keep growing and get better and all that. So really appreciate all the help we've been getting. And with that, let's get into the first player. First player I'm targeting in trades this week is Allen Robinson. He was on the field for just as many snaps as Cooper Cup this last week, and he ran the same number of routes. So he's clearly the number 2 wide receiver in this Rams offense, despite the fact that he only received 2 targets, one of which was on the final offensive play of the game for the Rams. But he was open on several occasions, and Stafford just, for whatever reason, didn't get him the ball. They're going to be playing much worse opponents than the Bills going forward. The Bills really just absolutely stomped the Rams in that game that was opening day. And the Bills have a really quality defensive line going up against the Rams' offensive line that hasn't quite figured itself out yet. So I think that going forward, the Rams are going to have a lot more time to throw. And that's really where Allen Robinson's going to thrive. He's much more of a, not necessarily a deep threat, but a down the field, late developing route kind of player. And that means that in general, if there's not a lot of protection for the quarterback, he's going to struggle. But I think that they're going to make a very concerted effort to get Allen Robinson the ball more. They've also talked about how much they want to use him in the red zone. And we didn't really get to see that much this last week because the Rams really weren't down there much. So I think we're going to see a lot more promising outings going forward from Allen Robinson. And if you remember last year, Robert Woods had a really similarly slow start to the season, and the coaching staff made an effort to, or made a point of saying they were going to get Robert Woods more involved, which they did for Allen Robinson after this game. And for Robert Woods, they did. He was actually a top 11 wide receiver through 9 weeks before he got hurt last season. So I fully expect Allen Robinson to get back on track this week against the Falcons. And then once he has another blow up game, he's not going to be cheap anymore. So a lot of people are really looking to dump Allen Robinson after his horrible last season and a really slow start, but I'm not necessarily phased, and I'm all in on Allen Robinson going forward. Another guy I'm looking to trade for this week is Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts left the game with 4 fantasy points that past week, and the Falcons' offense actually looked pretty decent. So I think a lot of people might be surprised by that. Drake London was pretty involved. Cordarrelle Patterson was really involved, and I just think that for this Falcons offense to continue producing at any level at all, Kyle Pitts is going to have to be the focal point of that offense. And for whatever reason, that didn't happen this week. So I'm not at all worried about Kyle Pitts going forward. There's no reason to write off the breakout for him this season just after 1 week. And he's still far and away my tight end 3. There's a huge drop off behind him and everyone else. So if you don't have one of those elite tight ends, it's really rare that you can find yourself in a position where you might actually have a legitimate opportunity to go grab one of them. So just make an offer for Kyle Pitts, see if the owner is disappointed after the week 1. You're probably going to have to give up a decent tight end like a Dallas Goddard plus something or a Darren Waller plus a little bit. But Kyle Pitts is far and away going to be the tight end 3 this season, if not better. And Mariota actually looked pretty decent. That was my main concern for Kyle Pitts going into the season, was that Mariota wasn't going to be able to support anything on that offense. But he looked all right. So I think that this team's actually going to move the ball okay. They're still probably going to be a fringe bottom 10 offense, but Kyle Pitts and Drake London are going to be the only 2 people that really are involved in that offense throughout the whole season. So Kyle Pitts is going to have much better days ahead. They played a good defense last week in the Saints, so there's no reason to be worried about Kyle Pitts. But if the league owner, if the manager of Kyle Pitts in your league is, then definitely be targeting him. He's going to have a great rest of the season. There's no reason to be worried there. Next player I'm buying low on here is Darnell Mooney. He played the whole game. He was by far their number one receiver in terms of routes run. But the Bears just played a game and have pretty much swamped that whole game between the Bears and the Niners. It was a really gross game. Neither team could do anything through the air. And Cole Kmet also put up a dud. The Bears only threw the ball, I want to say 17 times in this game. That's a number that's going to have to go up as their defense gives up far more points throughout the course of the season. I'm pretty much willing to throw out this entire game for the Bears offense. The only really takeaway I came out of this game with was that Khalil Herbert's going to be more involved than I think a lot of people thought. But as far as the receivers go, it's going to be Mooney. It's going to be Kmet. Both of them did absolutely nothing this week, and the only real production was a broken play to Dante Pettis. But Darnell Mooney's still clearly their number one wide receiver. He's going to have a massive target share, be a massive piece of this offense. It's not going to be an elite offense, but he's going to get enough of it that he's going to be a wide receiver too for the rest of the season. And a lot of people are probably just done with him. A lot of people were hesitant about drafting a Bear anyway, and then starting the season that poorly. I think you got able to get Mooney for pretty cheap, and I'm not at all worried about him going forward. So the next player I'm looking to buy low on here is Mike Williams. I think it's kind of strange that a lot of people are already out on him because if you drafted him, you probably knew he was going to be a boomer bust player throughout the whole course of the season. That's been what his entire career has been. He's going to win you a week, and then he might put up a dud the next. But just because he put up one of those duds in week one doesn't mean he's going to have a bad week or a bad season going forward. Mike Williams is in line to be the number one wide receiver this week against the Chiefs because Keenan Allen's unlikely to suit up. So I certainly expect Mike Williams to have a hell of a game on Thursday. And, when Mike Williams puts up 150 and 2 touchdowns on Thursday, any possibility of buying low on him is out the window. I still have him ranked as a top 15 receiver for the rest of the season. So I'm still super high on Mike Williams. I'm really excited about him and this whole Chargers offense. So to me, there's no reason to be worried about it. It's just 1 week. He was just uninvolved for a week. It happens with him. He's going to disappear sometimes, but he's also going to win you some weeks. And like I said before, they've invested in him pretty heavily. They're paying him $60 million over the next 3 years. So Mike Williams is going to be a focal point of this offense. Keenan Allen might be slowing down. He could be getting more and more banged up. So there might even be more weeks going forward where Mike Williams is the number one wide receiver here. And with Justin Herbert as your quarterback, the number one wide receiver is going to be an absolute monster in fantasy. So go get Mike Williams now. You can trade I would happily trade a Cortland Sutton for Mike Williams, or that was the first name that came to head. But trade a wide receiver 2 for Mike Williams to anybody who's really looking to dump him. I'm really excited about Mike Williams going forward. I don't know why I said Sutton because I'm really excited about Sutton as well. But I'm willing to trade wide receiver 2 value for Williams because I think he's much better than that, and he's going to have a great rest of the season. So go make an offer for Williams this week. The last guy I'm looking to buy low on here is ALVIN KAMARA. This one is actually a little bit riskier to me. I'm not as confident in it because I think that he's going to still cost quite a bit. I'm not sure that managers are necessarily willing to dump him yet, but he was really uninvolved this last week, and it came out after the game that it was because of a rib injury he sustained during the game. The Saints have also signed Latavius Murray to their practice squad to show that they really do want to add some more depth at that position, but we all know that ALVIN KAMARA has top 5 upside at the running back position if he's healthy and involved, and there's no reason to believe that they wouldn't use him if he was healthy. So I think it was just purely a injury sustained during the game, sort of limiting his workload. But going forward, I do expect ALVIN KAMARA to be a top 10 running back the rest of the season. It's just that there is still the looming possibility of a suspension, although that seems limited, and we don't really know much about this rib injury, but I think that ALVIN KAMARA still is a guy with enough upside that he could certainly be a league winner for you if you can manage to trade RB2 value for him. I've seen people trading Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a wide receiver 2 for ALVIN KAMARA. That's definitely something I would do. So just throw together a neat little package for him and see if you can get him. I wouldn't break the bank for him. I wouldn't trade away any superstars for him because I am a little bit worried about him. But ALVIN KAMARA certainly has the upside to be a league winner for you, and it's worth making an offer for him just to see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.